Ma'am, step away from the vehicle, hands where I can see them.
Excuse me?
I just watched you trying door handles. This car yours?
It is, and I'm trying to go home after 16 hours.
I'll need to see some ID.
Sure, Dr. Elena Brooks, St. Michael's
That's my badge,
Hospital.
that's my car.
Right.
Okay.
And it's unlocked now.
Ma'am,
A black grandmother was interrogated by a racist cop in a hospital garage by a white cop. He called her a thief. He mocked her job. Nurses begged him to stop. But what he didn't know was that the tired old woman he was bullying had more power than any officer in the state. And when the truth came out, his career, his pride, and the entire police department would never be the same again. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and tell me in the comments where you're watching from, because this story will make your heart race. Ma'am, step away from the vehicle. Officer Trent Mallory barked, voice echoing through the quiet parking garage. Dr. Elena Brooks froze. She held her car keys in one shaking hand, her hospital badge in the other. I said step back. Trent yelled again. He stalked nearer, one hand on his holster. You think I can't see what you're doing? Trying to break into a car that's not yours. 3 nurses at the far end stopped walking. One raised her phone and started recording. A janitor peered from behind a pillar. Elena swallowed. She spoke softly. Officer, I just finished my shift. This is my car. Trent scoffed. Oh yeah? And I'm the governor. Hands visible. Don't reach for anything. The nurses gasped. One whispered, why is he treating her like that? Trent's eyes narrowed. I asked you a question. You own this SUV? On a hospital salary? Right. He said hospital salary like it was dirt. Like she was dirt. Elena looked like any older hospital worker. Worn scrubs. Tired eyes. Silver locks tied tightly. A tote bag slung over one arm. Her posture sagged the way only 16-hour shifts can sag a body. To Trent, she looked weak, ordinary, forgettable. What he didn't see was the truth. He didn't see the framed medals in her office, that he didn't see the folded flag on her mantle, that he didn't see the night she earned national recognition during a crisis that shook the country. He didn't know she once commanded rooms that powerful men feared entering. But right now, she looked like just another black woman in a garage. And Trent thought that meant he owned her. Let me see ID, Trent said, stepping even closer, chest puffed in dominance. And don't try anything funny. We both know this car's too expensive for you. The words cut sharp. He wanted her to react.to, snap.to, get angry. Because then he could say, see, she's the problem. But Elena didn't snap. She kept her voice steady, slow, measured. Officer, this is unnecessary. I'm reaching for my badge. Slowly. That's enough, Trent spat. Drop what's in your hand. Now. Elena hesitated. Trent slammed her against the SUV. The sound echoed. Metal boomed. Nurses screamed. HOI, one yelled. You can't do that. Trent ignored them. You think you can talk back? You think you're special because you work in a hospital? You people always think you're owed something. There it was, you people. The ugliest phrase. Elena felt heat rise in her cheeks. Pain shot through her shoulder, humiliation burned in her chest. But she stayed still, still as stone. Because she'd lived through worse. Real battle, real hate, real storms. And this was a child throwing a tantrum. A doctor approached. White coat, confident stride. Officer, she's a physician here. I can vouch. Back up. Trent snapped. Or I arrest you too. The doctor stepped back. Fear. Power imbalance. Race. It all sat thick in the air. A black security guard at the garage entrance winced, hands clenched, torn between job and justice. Every second of silence was a verdict. Elena's mind flickered. Not to medals, not to money, not to respect. To her grandson, 9 years old, waving a crayon drawing at her. To a patient's mother whispering thank you. To quiet things, simple things. Things she fought for. Things this officer wanted to strip away in a single night. Trent leaned in close. His breath smelled of coffee and arrogance. You're lucky I don't cuff you. Trying to steal a vehicle? Pretending to be a doctor? I am a doctor, Elena said quietly. Trent laughed. You? Stop. If you're a doctor, I'm a millionaire. He turned to the nurses. Delete those videos. Now. They didn't. Trent's hand twitched near his holster again. Hands behind your back, lady. I'm done playing. He didn't know nurses recognized her, didn't know she'd saved some of their family members, didn't know she'd trained half the ER. He didn't care. He saw a black woman, a fancy car, a late night, a stereotype. And he acted. He shoved her again. You don't belong in a car like this. You don't belong here at all. His words dripped with the belief that he could define her worth, that his authority was unearned but absolute. Elena inhaled deeply, slow, controlled. "Officer," she whispered, "you are making a mistake." Trent laughed. "No, you made the mistake. Coming here. Thinking you could fool me." The camera phones zoomed in. Whispers grew. Elena's badge dangled from her fingertips. And she knew. The moment she showed it, everything would start changing. Not completely. Not instantly. But the first crack in Trent's ignorance would appear. Elena spoke just one sentence. A sentence Trent didn't understand. "Not yet," she said. "Call your captain." Trent blinked. Confusion flickered. Then he smirked. "What? You think you're someone important?" Elena didn't answer. The garage felt colder. Bystanders leaned in. Nurses held their breath. Because the flip was coming. Not with violence. Not with shouting. But with truth. And truth has a weight no badge can block. She stood there, bruised, humiliated, silent, while he stood puffed with false power. He thought he'd already won. He thought she was nothing. But the call she'd asked for, that single request, would tear open a secret he never imagined. A secret that would reach the police chief, the mayor, the federal courthouse, and the entire city press. And when the truth hit, careers would crumble. Justice would echo. And the world would see who she really was. Not a tired woman. Not a stereotype. Not a victim. But someone powerful enough to change everything. The elevator doors opened with a dull ding that echoed across the concrete. For a moment, nobody moved. Not the nurses holding their breath. Not the janitor hiding behind a pillar. Not the black security guard frozen at the entrance, torn between duty and dignity. Nobody. Except Elena. Her voice, calm but tired, repeated, "Call your captain." Officer Trent Mallory blinked. Confusion twisted into annoyance, then full arrogance. "You think you can tell me what to do?" he scoffed. "Lady, I'm in charge here. Not you. You don't get to make demands." He said it loud, like he wanted everyone to hear. Like he wanted the garage to echo with his dominance. Trent turned toward the nurses. "You heard me earlier. Delete the videos." "I'm not asking again." But they didn't move. A blonde nurse in blue scrubs clenched her jaw. The tall nurse beside her shook her head, phone still recording. Trent's face reddened. "I said." "You said enough," Elena interrupted softly. Trent spun back. "You don't speak unless spoken to." Elena didn't flinch. "I will speak," she said, voice steady, "because you have no idea who you are talking to." The temperature shifted. It wasn't loud, that IT wasn't aggressive, that IT wasn't even angry. But it carried weight. Like a storm whispering before it breaks. Trent grabbed his radio. "I'll call the captain," he mocked. "Let's see how fast he laughs when I tell him I caught a woman trying to steal a car." He pressed the button. "Dispatch. I need Captain Hensley. Now." There was silence. Then static crackled. A voice replied, "Stand by." Trent leaned close to Elena. "You think this scares me? My captain backs me. He knows I'm the one who keeps this city safe from people like you." There it was again. "People like you." Elena's jaw tightened. But she stayed silent. Because she knew. This night wasn't about shouting him down. It was about letting him bury himself with his own ignorance. Minutes passed. Nurses whispered. The janitor crept closer. The guard shifted his feet. Trent kept pacing, pride oozing from every movement. Then footsteps. Heavy. Fast. Captain Elias Hensley appeared at the top of the ramp, flanked by two sergeants. He was a tall white man in his late 50s, gray hair, sharp eyes. A man who'd seen too many mistakes. Too many complaints. Too many tragedies. He looked at Trent. "What's going on?" Trent puffed his chest. "Caught this woman breaking into a luxury SUV. She resisted. She got loud with me. Nurses are recording. It's handled." Captain Hensley studied Trent. Then he looked at Elena. His eyes widened. Recognition. Real, deep recognition. His face went pale. "Dr. Brooks," he breathed. There was no mistaking his tone. Respect. Fear. Shame. Trent blinked. "Wait, you know her?" Captain Hensley didn't answer him. He stepped forward. And then, he did something nobody expected. He bowed his head. "Dr. Brooks, ma'am, I'm so sorry." The garage erupted with murmurs. The nurses' phones shook in their hands. The janitor's mouth dropped open. Trent's pride cracked at a hairline fracture. Then wider. "What are you doing?" he stuttered. "She's a suspect." "No," Captain Hensley snapped. She is the federal medical director for our region. She works directly with the Department of Justice on emergency protocols. She consults for Homeland Security, and she is one of the most respected physicians in the state. Silence. Thick, heavy, powerful. Like a verdict. Trent's lips parted. He couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. But she didn't look. He stopped himself. Too late. Everyone heard. Didn't look important. Didn't look wealthy. Didn't look powerful. Didn't look white. Captain Hensley squared his shoulders. Officer Mallory, you detained her? Without cause. Trent tried to stand tall. She looked suspicious. She looked, Hensley echoed, or she was doing something illegal? Trent faltered. I thought. You thought wrong. I didn't know. You didn't care to know. Hensley raised his voice. You profiled her. You assaulted her. And you humiliated a decorated national medical leader. Trent's voice cracked. I didn't know who she was. Captain Hensley stepped close, anger vibrating through him. That's the point, officer. You treat everyone like you treated her, unless they fit your picture of innocence. The words slapped harder than any hand. Nurses nodded. The janitor whispered, yes. The guard lowered his head. The truth was undeniable. Everyone saw it. Everyone felt it. The power had shifted. And Trent knew it. Captain Hensley faced the cameras. All of you, keep those videos. He didn't say delete. He said keep. Trent's heart dropped. Wait, you can't. You're suspended, Hensley said. Effective now. Suspended. The word echoed louder than any scream. And Internal Affairs will contact you. There will be a full investigation. The mayor's office will be informed. Reality hit Trent like a punch. His career was collapsing. Not because of violence. Not because of a chase. But because he let racism steer his judgment. He turned to Elena. His arrogance was gone. His swagger shattered. What remained was a small, scared man. I made a mistake, he whispered. I didn't mean. You meant every word, Elena replied quietly. Her tone wasn't cruel. It wasn't loud. It was truthful. And truth is sometimes the sharpest blade. You saw my skin, she continued. And you built a story in your mind. Her voice stayed soft. And then, you acted on that story. Trent's eyes filled. Not with guilt. With fear. Fear of consequences. Fear of exposure. Fear of a world that wasn't going to look away this time. One nurse stepped forward. Tears in her eyes. Dr. Brooks, are you okay? Elena nodded gently. I'm fine. Another nurse whispered. I'm so sorry we couldn't do more. Elena touched her arm. You did enough. You stood. You recorded. You refused to silence yourselves. The janitor approached, voice shaky. We see you, ma'am. For once, not in pity, but respect. Captain Hensley turned to the officers beside him. Escort Dr. Brooks to her vehicle. He didn't ask. He ordered. They obeyed. No hesitation. Trent stood alone. No partner. No support. No protection. The nurses parted for Elena like she was royalty. But she didn't walk with pride. She walked with sadness. For herself. For him. For the world. Because she knew this was only one night. And there would be many more like it. Before entering her SUV, Elena stopped. She looked at Trent. Her eyes didn't show hate. Just tired truth. She said, you judged me by my skin. Not by my heart. And that's why you failed tonight. Not because of me. Because of yourself. She paused. Then added, power isn't in a badge. It's in character. Those words didn't shout. They didn't roar. They whispered. But the whisper carried more force than any scream ever could. As she drove away, the garage lights glowed on her silver locks. Nurses wiped their eyes. The janitor saluted her. Captain Hensley sighed, a man tired of apologizing for men who refused to learn. Trent sat on the concrete floor, head in his hands. His own words replaying. People like you. And now he understood. People like him were the problem. If this story moved you, hit subscribe. Tell me in the comments. What would you have done if you witnessed this moment? Because silence is where injustice breathes.